Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lifestyle show here on What TV. First of all, identity theft has actually become the order of the day. People steal everything stealable, so long as it has to do with someone's personality. They want to use it for their own personal or selfish gain. They steal your pictures, they steal your videos, they steal everything just to use it for something. I can't really explain what it is though. And then you begin asking questions like, how then do you safeguard this? Or how then do you try as much as possible to guard your, personal, personal information, so then it's not being used wrongly. And that is why today we'll be talking about safeguarding personal identity in the online community. You all are welcome to the lifestyle show here on What TV. I still remember your girl and host, EJ. If you haven't joined or followed the lifestyle playlist on What TV, please do follow us. Follow the lifestyle playlist on What TV YouTube. Like, subscribe, and keep sharing. You all are welcome once again. Now, with me in the studio are two lovely people. Coincidentally, should I use the word coincidentally? They've been here before, right? We have two amazing gentlemen. We have Mr. Hope. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's good to have you back again.
Yeah, thank you.
Please, do you mind introducing yourself?
Okay, my name is Dr. Hope, and I am an IT specialist.
All right, sir.
I'm happy to be here again.
Thank you so much for coming.
Welcome.
And then we have Mr. Jerry Etonam. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. You mentioned the name well for once. So, I'm good. I am a journalist,
right,
and a media specialist. I deal with translation, voiceover, anything that's got to do with media production and all that.
That's amazing.
So once again, I'm happy to be here to be able to give the little information I have to your viewers out there.
Thank you very much. Both of them they've actually been on my the same way they are sitting on, no cap. Like, they've been here and they killed it in the last show they both sat on, and I believe they are going to do justice to this very particular topic. Now, like I began explaining, there's been so much razzmatazz going on online regarding identity theft. People have been stealing. They steal everything, and it has actually become a trend at the moment. So let's first of all understand what safeguarding, personal identity. What do we understand by the topic? So, Jerry, Hope, let me start with you.
Okay, when we talk about safeguarding personal information, this is how there's what we call privacy and policy. Simply talking about how we can protect our personal information.
Okay.
Because our information are very personal for us. So that's what we mean by safeguarding personal information.
Okay. Do you have anything to say?
Well, I will go in two dimensions. First of all, agreeing with what he said.
Okay.
And second of all, to the extent to which when that information is being exploited, it may be in the long term or the short term, how possible it is to recover. It is also part of the safeguarding.
Okay.
It's not because the wrong has been done, so we just leave it out there. Maybe in question, some people create maybe Facebook account, and after some years they remember the password, some years they don't, and they just leave it, they create another one. It's very wrong. Maybe there could be ways we can recover such passwords if possible, so we don't have that duplicity.
Okay. So, Saho, please, what are some of the means that cyber criminals use in exploiting, stolen personal data?
Okay, there are so many ways. There are various ways in which cyber criminals exploit our personal data. One of them is called pitching. And we say pitching is the process or medium whereby hackers steal your information in an authorized way, and most times they use that information to do some illegal things behind your back. For example, accessing your bank account, or sometimes selling your information. Sometimes, because I remember a time, I think last month, a prominent man which I know in Delta State, he was one of the personal assistants to the governor of Delta State. I saw his message on WhatsApp. It was like, good afternoon, how are you? I said, I'm fine. He said, I need 150,000 naira right now. I want you to sort my son's school fees. I was like, this message is...
It's not authentic.
It's not normal. He has not sent me this kind of message before. I had to message his son, please confirm your dad's phone. So, phishing is having unauthorized access to users' platform. They make use of that information to mislead people, thinking they are the ones. So there can also be other medium of email attacks, whereby they will be sending you email, clicking a particular link to do this and do that. So sometimes it's very important that we should be careful of the links we click online.
Okay, what do we consider personal data or personal information that one shares online? What can you consider personal?
Okay, when we say personal information, there are data that can be used to identify or track an individuals. The personal data can be our name, our date of birth, our email address, our phone number, our house address. It can also be our, for example, in Nigeria, there's what called national ID. It can be our national ID number. In the US, they all call social security number. So in Togo, I believe they have their own national ID card with a unique number that is used to identify every individual. Some harmful personal information can also be your pet's name, your mother's maiden name. So these are the information that we consider personal information.
Okay, now, Sajari, please, what do you think? What are some of the risks, that surrounds sharing this personal information online?
Okay, before I get to that, to add to what he said,
yes, please.
Sometimes the content that we share, we post, we create or publish online also constitutes our personal identity.
Okay.
Because like he said, something that can be tracked back to you, the footprint you leave online. They are all the factors that we consider personal identity. You may probably share a post from someone and you think it doesn't really matter. Because imagine maybe in the heat of the LGBT movement and all that, you share a post that may be considered harmless at that moment.
Right.
But because of the momentum those things are taking, it is now considered to be a hate speech or whatever it is. You may not be the one who wrote it, but you shared it, so you could become
something.
Another part of it is when we see the sex tape around and all the people keep sharing,
right,
recording it, putting it on their post because they are looking for the likes and all those things. You may not indirectly know that is speaking about your person or your identity, but in the long term, it is all constituting to who you are presenting yourself to be online. Some people don't care about how their image is online because within themselves they feel, personally, I'm not like that, so it doesn't mind.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to show the fake side of myself online, but if I don't know you personally, I don't know if that is who you are or not. That is what I am going to know about from what you post. Now, talking about some of the risks, the first thing I can say is identity theft.
Okay.
Because I gave earlier on the example of when you have somebody with maybe Esther, John, Esther, but it's the same person. When you have multiple accounts, you don't know when one that you don't remember the password, you don't have access to, when someone is using it. Because you have dissociated from it, whatever action is happening there, you are probably not aware. The second aspect too is that when you leave your phone, we have these systems when you download apps, you can do direct login, the password once, and then you can keep logging in.
Yeah.
Sometimes we might even try to do it on someone's phone because our phone have an issue, and then you give it to the person may have access to it. Me, for example, when you give me your laptop and then you type in your password, there's a place I can go and see all the passwords that you have.
Right.
So if I have the intent to do something bad, I can easily do it. The thing is that you may not know because it is going to be as if you are the one doing it. So I've stolen your identity, and when I have that identity, you can just not imagine what I can do with it. The other thing too is the blackmail. I spoke earlier on also about the sex tapes. Sometimes those things are leaked. Sometimes I wonder how come somebody would take their phone to repair, knowing very well the kind of sensitive things he or she has on it, and they maybe leave it that way. It is not to say that the repairer is also having the right to use some of this content without the person's approval. So one of the two things that can happen is what I just mentioned. The other thing too might be financial fraud.
Okay.
These kind of situations may be, if I should bring it into the late and we watch some of them in movies where we think it's just scripted, so it's normal. Sometimes you'll be surprised because it's like coming back to the identity theft. I don't know if you've heard a story about a South African who usurps the identification of Gabriel March in the movie The Suits. And luckily he was also a lawyer and he played the same character, and it took some time before people were able to find out that he wasn't who he said he was. That one is not even about probably online, but he had to create a profile. Things that can give him the credential or credit so that when he wants to transact whatever he wants to do, it will work. Maybe like you say in the United States, the social security situation, people use that. I don't know how come somebody can take your card for some reason, guess the password you use, because some people will probably get to that part, I don't know. Will just take your card, go and put it somewhere slot. Luckily, you might get a message to know your card was being used somewhere here and stuff. People can take that card. Maybe I want to buy something online. If I've cheated Hope, and I have his ID, because sometimes you have to send the ID to confirm, just to create that credibility. When I have his ID and I'm buying something from another person, or maybe from you, I can use Hope's ID to buy from you. You would think it's Hope. You go and report to the police station, they will come and catch you. So those kind of things are very important. So blackmail is there, identity theft is there, fraud, financial fraud is there. It's endless.
So what are some of the means that cyber criminals use in exploiting victims or individuals that are individuals that find themselves in these situations?
Well,
means of exploitations.
One thing I can say for sure is that you need to have the account under control. Which means if you have the personal information, his cited date of birth, maiden name and all those things, you can constitute something that is as real as authentic identification of the person. Some people can even go to the extent of even getting your biometric.
Do they do that?
Yeah, people can do that.
Yes,
people can scam. So
really?
So
then what is the authenticity of that? I mean, why is it being... Okay, continue.
The thing is that whatever you do, it can't belong. So far as they are criminals, there are people who are also working to catch them. So definitely today you may be able to do some things. Tomorrow you may not be able to do them again. Which means people have deployed means to get to catch you on some of those things you do. So first of all, the bank aspect is important because when I have your information and at length I have your biometric, it's like I'm controlling your life. I can create an account similar to yours. He said something about clicking links. Sometimes even when we are interacting with our banks and they ask us to click links, sometimes before your mind wouldn't go there because you feel it's my bank, well, I've been doing this long time. You click on the link, there can be an intermediary before you get there.
Right.
That is if you are hacked per se. So when you click on that link, it goes through a server that is probably not from the bank. They have access to whatever you are putting there as information, because you need to fill in some things, your bank ID, those last digits and all those things. Now they have access to it. They may allow you to pass the transaction that day, then later on they start using it. Some you just need to click on the link, that is so they have access to your system. So can you use your account to create your identificator to create a bank account, which they can use to draw your money. They can also use the same thing to commit other crimes. Leave your footprint somewhere that you've never been and all that. Last time I was checking my email or something, I think it was Facebook rather, and I saw a login from Mali. I've never been to Mali. How did it happen? So sometimes you never know. So those are probably just one of the few ways that somebody can accept your account.
Now, Saho, and you'll be attending to the same question, that I asked him, but together with that response that you'll be given, what do you think about technology so far? I mean, you're an IT specialist and this is your jurisdiction. All of these technologies you guys are producing is for our own aid, it's to help us, but at the long run you could actually see that all your means for privacy settings and biometric and trying as much as possible to safeguard people on people's accounts and their personal information is almost not working. So to include to the answer of the previous questions, please explain to me or explain to us how technology is actually helping or not helping in this situation.
Okay, at the end of the day, technology cannot 100% secure our data.
Let's scrap it then.
Now the reason why it cannot be scrapped,
technology won't be here.
there's no better alternative to it.
Right.
Now, one thing that can be done is what we call, there's what we call GDPR law. It's in the European Union. It's called General Data Protection Law. These are laws that regulate how data is being collected, how data is being stored, and how data is being used. In other words, if you own a technological company, you are expected to respect the laws. For Nigeria, what we call Data Protection Act. I believe every country has what we call a regulation that regulates how data is being used, stored, and collected. So, and most times when when there's a law, that means there's a consequence for anyone that break the law. For example, if a company breaks that law, they are expected to face the consequence of that. So having those Data Protection Act law all over the place, it will also help to protect it.
How do you know when such company breaks the law?
Now,
Facebook was a clear example some years ago.
Oh,
Mark Zuckerberg was taken to court.
yes, most of them are being taken to court. That's very important that
but in Africa here, is there any sanction like that?
Yeah,
Is there
they do.
anybody?
It is
But it's not
available.
serious, no.
It's a bit serious.
Maybe you are not directly
You might not be
related
paying-
to them, so
Yeah.
you might not know it.
You might not be paying attention to it. You might not be paying attention. And one thing is that is also ignorance. We ourselves.
Okay.
It's just like, for example, they say working with God is between us, is in partnership with us. So when it comes to securing your data, we ourselves, we have a role to play.
Right.
The company has a role to play. And most of what the company does, they educate us on what to do and how to protect our data. Right? So for instance, most times we trust the company so much that we don't even read their there's what called privacy and policy.
Right.
Privacy and policy.
It's too long.
They explain.
It's
you
too
know
long,
what they say?
yo.
They say you want to hide something from Africa, hide it in.
Yo.
And most of us, we just see, bro, like it's Facebook now. Facebook is one of the biggest company in the world.
Right.
Accept. And the moment you accept, one of the laws in GDPR regulation law is that you must give consent before they can have access to your data.
Exactly.
The moment you say yes, they are giving consent. I respect Apple products, iPhone, MacBook, for one thing, they prioritize users' data. One of their core values is that they don't take data without users' permission, and they are standing on it till today. So if Apple take your permission, it simply means either you agree, it simply means you say, okay, I accept. An iPhone cannot access your camera without you saying you accept.
Oh.
In other words, if Apple collects your data in an authorized way, you have the right to sue them to court. So it's one of their core values. So most time, trusting the company is not so good. Another aspect is we don't go through the law. Sometimes we are just too lazy to even. Being ignorant.
The privacy stuff you talk about is too long. If you begin reading that stuff, it's too long to read.
Even in the
It's
simple
important.
shortest term, the first time you started using WhatsApp on a smartphone, maybe Android, when you want to send a picture to someone, the pop-up that comes, can you remember what they write there? They say click allow. Do you remember what they write before click allow or don't allow?
No.
Exactly. You say it's long, but even the
That's
short
it.
one you don't read.
You don't read it. You don't.
So you cannot say it's too long.
Most times, it is important to work in line with the technological company. They will always do their best, but they cannot do more than their best. So part of securing personal data is part of our own personal responsibility. So while they are doing their best, hackers are also doing their best.
Okay.
So that's just.
So what are some of the proven ways to actually recover stolen data?
Now, in the aspect of recovering stolen data, sometimes when data is stolen, just like you said, most of hackers use it as blackmail.
Yes.
It can be sexual content, it can be personal information that the user does not want it to go to the public. They might say, give me this amount of naira, give me the amount of millions of dollars, else I will release this information to the public. So because it's personal, you don't want to go to the public and you just say, okay, let me just try to plead demand. That thing happened to Tiwa Savage. When they said
I think ours was carelessness.
she was
she really
it might not be careless, it might not be carelessness, sometimes it might be mistake,
right?
And it might be ignorance, not knowing the right thing. So one of the ways to recover our stolen data, there are authorities in every country that are responsible for let me say caching people that stole data. So it's very important to report
these people are not working, yo. We are in Africa.
No, it works, but sometimes we don't do it.
Let me just come in shortly. It's like sometimes we always say the laws are not working, get caught in. It's as simple as
he's saying the truth.
Right.
So there are authorities that are responsible. For example, my friend in Russia told me that some people were hacking his phone. It was like they told him, give me his phone. They started checking. Before they know, they started tracking them. So you have a role on playing the aspect of calling them. Sometimes they tell you did not tell us anything, so we don't know what's going on. So most teams does not know what's happening. Like I said, everything is a partnership between us and the authorities. Another way, it's very important to use strong password. First thing, when that first happens, it's important to first go and change all your password. Do you know it's very important that we change our password within every 3 to 6 months?
Really?
Yes. But some people in Africa, they use one password for 4 years.
Right.
So you understand?
I'm so guilty of this.
While we report to authorities, while we are reporting, we should play the role we can play by changing our password.
All right.
We should always use strong password. For example, that what we call brute force attack. When there's a brute force attack, it's easily work when there is a weak password. But when your password is hard to guess, the brute force attack will be able to help you. So one of the ways to secure it, changing our password. We can also what we call password managers. You see, one thing I like about iPhone is what we call password managers.
He's just talking about iPhone. You
uses
should use Android.
No,
Come on.
because iPhone. Do you know why
iPhone is normal because I mean, which other brand uses iOS? It's only iPhone.
Yeah, it's only
Actually.
iPhone. Because Android is open source.
Yes.
It's all called open source software.
Right.
Open source software, anybody can come in and build on it. That's why Samsung.
So
Techno,
he's not telling us now to go and start using iPhone.
Not necessarily.
I'm saying when you know every device is our
Right.
strength and weakness.
Exactly.
When it comes to privacy, I give hand to iPhone. It might be other aspects. I will say this phone is better. When it comes to user privacy, I give hand to them. And most phones also have this password manager apart from iPhone. So when you're trying to secure your password, they tell you this password looks like a password that is very suspicious. Change it. Sometimes they give you recommendation. They will tell you this password is
think Android does that
it
too.
looks like your other password. No, change it. So
Oh.
don't use same password for all your platform. Imagine they hack your bank account, they start hacking all your different platforms together.
Chain reaction.
So
It's fine. Thank you very
and
much.
one last thing.
Yes, please.
We should always be careful about the link we click.
Okay.
We should always be careful about the link we click. For example, let's say Google, for instance, is google.com. What if you see go0gle.com? When you click it, you are gone.
Gone as in.
So it's very important we pay clear attention to the links. So maybe we can talk more about that.
All right. So Jerry, please, what do you have to say?
Me, the immediate thing I would say when your account is probably overtaken by someone is first of all to report to the authorities. Now, in terms of reporting, it is not just going and say, "Oh, they've stolen my account," or so and so. You know, because some people can be playful.
Right.
Maybe the frustration trying to log in, the password is not passing, and then somebody tells you, "No, I just received a notification." Sometimes they don't even take the time to read. You know, sometimes Google or your whatever mail you are using can send you a notification saying you've logged in this account or on this device. Some people don't take time to go through because some people don't even know the names of the devices they use.
Yes.
I use an Acer switch. I have my account there. It is never open. Anytime I want to work, I go and I put the password. It is one way of remembering my password every time. You see, on my phone, maybe Facebook and some other ones, I can leave it open and stuff. But it's because I have that maybe high guarantee that I will not just give access to my phone, to, like give anyone other access to my phone just like that without any supervision. Now, there is this system where some people also online people who are so strong in the tech world or whatever. So when you have a situation such as this, you can contact them, you pay, and they will do it for you. My only issue with that is what guarantee do I have leaving my personal data in the hands of such a person?
Still on personal data.
Exactly. Now, if you realize when people's motorbikes or cars get stolen with a GPS tracker system, some people are able to, get
it
to
back,
it.
yeah.
But the thing is that the first very few minutes the incident happens is when you are supposed to take action. If you take too long, you are giving the people who are committing the crime more time
to
cover up whatever they have done.
To cover their
The
tracks.
second thing I can also say to agree to his is to change all passwords. Now, I spoke earlier on about when you have multiple accounts, you don't remember the passwords. People don't know sometimes you can use Gmail to recover it or the other authenticator systems you can use. The other thing also is updating it. The other thing too about credit card, when he mentioned, I remembered was that you have to freeze the credit card. I'm sure we've watched it in movies, so
Yes, sure. To
I don't have
purchase
say
something
more.
online.
You call your credit card operator, tell them you have to so and so. They freeze it for the moment. It stops the person from continuing. Now there are cybercrime units or other people, like he said, in every country they have those systems. The other thing also is that you should make sure you don't often allow people to access information on your phone. You know, there are certain people, you give them watch this picture before you know they are swiping. Before you know they have gone into your WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's by curiosity or bad intent or whatever. Another thing is the two-factor authenticator, which is something that I think almost every social media app or whatever platforms are trying to put in now. So there are some, it's either with a fingerprint, there are some, it's either with a particular PIN or a password key or something that you can use to secure the account. So that when it happens, like before the person does too much damage, you probably would have stopped the person in their tracks.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, how do we know if the links we click on social medias, on Google, like he mentioned, how do we know they are safe, actually? How do you even know the link that is safe to click? Because Google and what's it called, WhatsApp, groups that you're being added in. There are so many links that are being put there for you to just easily click and all that. Then how do you know the one that is actually safe to click and the one that is not safe to click? Is it like a caution sign telling you don't click this or something?
Well, I'll probably mention 3. The first one is the spelling of the site. He gave a very clear example. You are trying to access Google. It's double O, not 00. So clearly when you see something like that, you should know. The other thing is the site that starts with HTTPS or HTTP. They are sites that I can say have high security, if I can use them. I can't say they are completely secure because people can
Which is what sites. Google use actually.
It's not only Google, any others. If you want to go to your playlist, for example, on YouTube, you see the HTTPS before YouTube, so and so. That is how it usually happens. The other thing I can add is that sometimes let's reduce our curiosity. Because imagine I'm looking for something. They can tell me to click 7 ads. I'll keep clicking until I get what I'm looking for. Sometimes you're trying to download something, maybe Netflix, but you don't have the amount, or sorry, the account or whatever. You go on and they tell you there's this application or there's this site. When you go, you can watch. You go there, you click. A pop-up will come, you click. A pop-up will come. Some people don't realize that when a pop-up comes, you can close it and get back to the original site and still click. Sometimes as tech people, when we want to download softwares and stuff, sometimes we go to places that we can get it for free because in some places you are supposed to pay for them.
Right.
So when those pop-ups come, you should be very careful on which ones to click. I don't think it is necessary for you to click. There are some, they will tell you, this common thing people do. They will send you a message on WhatsApp or wherever and they will say, I have gained this thing on this platform, click here so that you can invite friends. Those kind of, it's very fishy. There was some time ago when the COVID came that they said the government was giving some money. Although it was a true initiative, it wasn't the means through which they were doing it.
Right.
So people were clicking links, sending to people, adding people. It wasn't doing anything. I've also done one before where they will tell you, you know, when you are trying to access Google sometimes, they ask you to type in a captcha code.
Right.
There are certain platforms that actually do that. It may not be done by Google themselves. So you can register on such sites, and then when people are trying to access different platforms, they are in charge of the captcha aspect. So you keep doing it and they'll keep giving you some amounts of money. So you'll be seeing it on your account. Sometimes when you want to withdraw is when you know it's not working. So there's a number of things that we have to.
By that
because
time
we are too curious.
Right. Okay, so I hope, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, he has said majority of the things. You know, it's very important that we should not be in a rush. You know, I was speaking with a friend from that is based in the US. He works with Microsoft. He said Africa don't like buying softwares. Do you notice that most of the software we use the free version?
Yes.
Especially Windows.
And we don't. And when you want to get a free version, you don't get it from the authorized merchant or the authorized dealer. In other words, if I need a fake version of Microsoft Office on a normal, I'm supposed to go to Microsoft.com and download it. I pay for it. But because I'm looking for a free version, I'll try go and looking for other sites. They will tell you that I've done the cracking and so on. But you don't know when you download it there. By installing it in your own system, you might have installed a malware also. And when you install a malware, this is why it's called virus. You know, once a virus, it eats you slowly. It might be moving around your device, but you might not know. So one other way is that we should get things from the authenticated source. So we should be careful about the link we see. Check it very well. Is this the link? Just like I said, they can deceive between O and 0. So a lot of people have fall into traps like so. We should be careful about the link we see, and we should educate ourselves on personal data security. We should take course, not just because we are an IT expert, but
So
for our own personal
any
development.
regular person should at least take
I
course.
actually did one on Cisco.
Yeah, we can use it to educate our children, our personal loved ones, because education is very important. It allows us to make the right decision at the right time.
Okay.
that's it.
Now, finally, before we wrap up, you guys talked about two-step verification. Now, can two-step verification and strong password truly secure online data or online account?
Okay, two-step verification, which is sometimes called two-factor authentication. So it can protect it to an highest level, but it cannot completely protect it. And like I always say, majority of the rules depends on you. Now, there was a time in 2022, my Facebook account was hacked. And the mistake I made that time, most I would like allowing browser to save our password, which I've stopped.
Yes, I do. Is it wrong?
Yeah, don't worry, we'll get to that. It is not, it might be good, but it's not advisable. The hacker there's what called catch.
Yeah.
Catch. It stores temporarily information. The hacker hacked it for my browser. Then the hacker gain authorized access to my Facebook account. Simply means they can get your Facebook account. If we change my Facebook social media platform to Korea. So when he changed it to Korea, I was just seeing code in my phone. Facebook sending me code. Enter 1345. Like I see code up to 7 times. Simply means he wants to change my password. But he needs that code to be able to change my password. What saved me was the 2-factor authentication that I put in place. So because I have access to my SIM card, the hacker does not have access to my inbox. He was not be able to change the password, even if he has unauthorized access to it. So 2-factor authentication helps a lot to some level, and it's very important to implement 2-factor authentication, even if the computer or software cannot 100% secure software.
Now, I want you to touch
to some highest level.
Touch a bit on what happens when you allow your browser save your password. What happens?
It's like leaving fish there and say, "Oh, I know my cat will not eat it," or maybe you're leaving dog food and say, "Oh, the dog, unless I give command before the dog will eat."
Okay, for example, now, you see one thing I like about I want to make use of MacBook alone and iPhone. When you browse, they don't allow pop-up. They did it intentionally, but Windows do. And the reason why I put that in place is that most times saving your password in browser might not be totally wrong, but some of the things you are clicking, you are giving them access without you knowing. So I have access to those password you save in your browser. So Apple came up with their own system. They don't allow their users save password in their browser. So for you to be fully secured, don't save your password in your browser because it is becoming outdated. Why every day hackers are bringing new ways on how to steal personal information. So we should also be reading security updates and security trends. So I cannot advise now. By before it might be a better way, but for now it is not the norms. So it's not advisable.
How is it possible that your phone get hacked even though you don't click on sites? Like you're not the very curious person like you guys have stated. How is it that someone is able to still hack your phone? Because I mean, when
we finish the show, you send a link to people. There's nobody who will say he hasn't clicked on a link before.
See, let me tell you. For example, I receive a mail.
what are the easiest way that your phone? Your phone can be hacked. The easiest way for it to happen.
Majority is links and having access to your device. You might give Shinedu your phone. You see, this is our device here. If imagine the hacker has access to my phone and he's seen my messages. Someone hacked my WhatsApp. I did not know how. But what saved me? But I remember I gave one lady my phone before it happened. I was suspecting her, but I don't have an evidence to it. But I have to. So our phone is called mobile device, or for example, we say computer is called personal computer. It is not for everybody use. It's for our personal use.
Right.
So it is not always good to give people access to your data because they might steal information without you knowing. Or sometimes it might not be their intention, or why they are doing it. Somebody else is seeing it. So it can happen without their knowledge, but your mistake was first given the person. So it's supposed to be our personal device. And first of all, stop clicking on unauthorized link. And when you receive a mail, it's important to check our mail as professional for important updates. There can be a mail that click this link to purchase this, click this link to update your password. Sometimes they will send you a genuine email as if it's Google that send you an email that it seems your data has been breached. Click to update your password. Once you update your password goes to their database. From there, they log in legally and change the password. They will log you out. So first of all, be careful about the link you click. Always observe the email you receive. Because once, the way to send an email, I need to know your email address.
Yes.
So if I have your email address, I can bombard it with so many email I want to send it to. So we should all be observant in our email receive.
Thank you very much.
That's it.
One additional thing is also application updates. Sometimes if your apps are obsolete, it means it's easier for the software or whatever system the person is using to get into it. because with each update that comes with an application, there's an extra security added to it.
Yes.
The two-step authentication, I think at some point was optional,
Okay.
but now it is becoming more or less like something mandatory. Because if you are talking about data privacy, it means I have to also try my best, as he said, work with the authorities or the companies. If the company is trying its best to bring you features that can secure your data and you are not, doing that, I don't know if you have it. The two-factor.
Yeah.
On WhatsApp, it's there. On Facebook, I think
at some point even WhatsApp mandated. Yeah.
That you do it.
Yeah.
So we have to, because that authentication gives an extra layer. I know certain work places or work people that before they log in every day to work in their system, they have to do two-factor.
Amazing.
Either there's an app that they have associated with the software or the app that they themselves they use. So there can be third parties. One additional thing that I want to also add is that, sometimes we human beings, we think we are smart, we know all the tech. Like I asked you right now, when you want to access camera on WhatsApp for the first time, the pop-up that comes, you may not know. There are certain apps that will even tell you you are giving access to the app on your phone only one time or whilst you are using the app.
Right.
Some say allow or don't allow, but most of the time we don't look at any of those things. It is high time we pay attention to it. We are calling the thing personal, which means whatever you do, whether it is someone you give your phone to, a link you click, it is you that is going to affect.
Okay.
So we have to pay further attention to it and make sure we do that.
Right. Before I let you go, because we are running behind time already, I want to talk a bit on LinkedIn. Okay. There are so many job adverts on LinkedIn. Is it safe to actually click on these links? Because they have access to your email. So through LinkedIn, you get emails for available jobs and co, right? So now, there are links on LinkedIn, and there are people that advertise, their daily jobs, monthly jobs, weekly jobs, etc. Now, is it safe to actually click those links?
Well, the safety of it, like I said earlier on, is to look at the HTTPS, look at the spelling, and make sure maybe sometimes you can go online and check and see if that link actually exists. Last time I had a show and there was a link that somebody sent to me. So what I did was that instead of doing it on my phone, I went on a laptop using an email account. I don't really have anything much on it. It's just like a second option thing when I don't want to use my real email for things I don't trust. So I went on it and I logged in and I went to look at the site, look at the things that I needed to look at. When I felt it was okay, then I used it on my phone or on my own account. That is one aspect of it. Now on LinkedIn, somebody can't access your email unless your private settings is open to that. Because even on LinkedIn, there are privacy settings.
Right.
There are certain people, maybe currently right now, when you go on their profile, you have limited amount of information you can see.
Okay.
Which means if the person wants anything, the person will have to write to you. Maybe, I think initially there was the option where you can write only 3 times to the person if you are not a connection or following the person. I don't know if it's still the same.
Yeah, it's still the same.
Good. So when you write to the person, it's from there that the conversation can go on. So all those things you see on your email, most of them are notifications.
Okay.
If you see a job, there are some with the index already included. When you click, they say quick apply. So what it does is it presents your profile that you have already put there, the personal information to the person who is in need of that information or you are applying to. Then from there, they can ask you to upload your CV if you want to. Because most of the jobs, some people get that through LinkedIn because it's a professional site. So there's nothing wrong with it. Now, when you are clicking on LinkedIn, the I becomes 1. And you click on it, it's like the issue is you. You have to make sure you see the right thing.
You have to be patient.
You can do errors. I don't disagree.
Right.
But you have to pay much attention to the details of what you are clicking on.
Okay.
When you go to a site and it takes you to more than 2 sites, I can assure you it's not safe.
Just run.
Yes.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of today's show. It's been amazing, both of you. So I hope, thank you very much for coming. It's really an honor having you here. And Mr. Jerry, thank you so much for coming. I'm so grateful. All right, guys, we've come to the end of today's show. You guys have heard it from, I would want to say the horse's mouth because they are very much vast in, things like this. I don't really have a conclusion because they've actually given a conclusion on it. We want to give a special thanks or special shout out to our production team, Mr. Jerry Tunam. He's actually the producer for the lifestyle show. We have the director, Richard Yengao, and then we have Senior Wampa, Richard Ahmed Dasau, and we have Ekwe Florent, we have Makawi Prudence, All of this, I'm so sorry. If that sounds like your name, I want to say very big thank you to you guys for, putting together this episode. Until we come your way next week, stay blessed, stay safe. Plenty love from me to you. Bye-bye.